So I got the cylinder kit here, piston cylinder kit. It is a Lab Work brand. It was Amazon. Pretty sure it was a 1-star review on Amazon. And some guy said the thing's too long or too short or whatever. Probably ought to measure that real quick. The gaskets look really high quality. Looks like a really good gasket. Piston and cylinder look fine. We're gonna clean this. It's pretty important. And squashing the rings. And we got a knockoff spark plug with it. And then it did not say it was including these. I was kind of wondering what I was going to do about valve seals because, but just a bunch of price gougers selling these. So these are like M6x1. I'm going to thread 2 nuts on like this. Find my other 10 mil. We're going to lock these guys together real tight. Do that. And then we're going to see if we want to crack this bottom one loose, if it pulls the whole stud out. And it did. So now that we got that, we'll take our 10 mil. Alright. I would say they are the exact same. I don't know what the other guy's talking about. So I don't really know the significance of that. This is, I assume, where it shoots oil up to lubricate the top end of the engine. Either that or it's a return from that. I don't know why this is cut out like that. But yeah, I think this will work. You guys are going to find out if it doesn't. Okay. Got me a little nervous now. So we're just, we're going to slide this wrist pin out a little bit and just kind of stick it in there. All right, so they're hooked together so we can measure them evenly. Because you can clearly see there's a height difference. But what matters is from wrist pin to dome. And as you can see, it is definitely taller. Is it too tall? I don't know. I mean, this would raise the compression. This would be the equivalent of, like, you know, a high compression piston. But this one is, I forget if that's convex or concave. It's dished. This one's domed. But as far as like the ring cutouts, that's really close to like not matter. But yeah, I don't know about that. We'll have to see. We'll have to see about that. Lab Work. Made in China. It's already warm and contaminated in here, so I just brought this stuff in here. We're going to use these little guys and just touch these surfaces up. Try to get rid of some of these marks. I have noticed that there are little dings in places that make no sense, which tells me somebody's been in this before. So we have like a 1/2 thousandths on this side, but 1/2 thousandths this far in is quite a bit more that far out, whereas this side we only have about 1/1000ths that far out. I don't have the spec for this. Obviously I don't have the service manual. In general, I mean, 0 is great, you know, that's where you want to be, but 0's unachievable a lot of times by a DIYer. But you're looking for probably a 1/2 thousandths to 1/1000ths on these. got some parts, not all of them, but a couple curious little things. This is the new used tensioner. And you can see mine has wear grooves in it, whereas this one almost looks like it's been sanded down. I grabbed the caliper and I measured it in a couple spots, and it's thicker pretty much everywhere, but it just has this weird look to it. So I'm really hoping that this isn't in here too tight, because I do not want to mushroom that out. So since this bearing fits on here loosely, we're going to go ahead and press it into the case. There's a seal that goes in here first, and I'm thinking it's the bigger black seal, because we have a brown seal here, and it needs to go the spring facing the oil, so it needs to go this way. And what I need to get is a socket or bearing or something that is this exact size. So the bearing we just pulled out is just the right size. Double check the surface, make sure it looks good. I'm going to put that in dry. We're going to get, what are we going to get? This flywheel puller. All right, that's bottomed out. And since we have a press, we're going to go use the press. I can see the snap ring, so it's good. I'm going to go ahead and get this head assembled. Need to get the valve seals in first. Well, what an eventful 3 weeks from 4 seconds ago on the video. So, finally got this. This was a whole nightmare. Basically, I don't know, like a week passed and shipping never got updated. I reached out, no response. A couple more days pass, automatic message, the shipping got updated, and it was like retroactive that it had been dropped off conveniently 4 hours away from me at the post office like 4 days before. Waited like another week, messaged them, no response. Waited like another day or two, tried to contact the post office with the tracking info. That's a whole nightmare. Just don't even waste your time doing that ever. You punch in the tracking number and then they say, we need tracking information, and then where's my package? We'll contact you to an agent. We need more information though. Please input your tracking information. Input your tracking information, and it's the same menu. It just loops you in that menu. It's absolutely worthless. If you work for the post office, tell them they're worthless. Like, that's just absolute nonsense. So, filed for a refund, bought a different one from a different seller, 2 to 4 day shipping, and then 4 days, eBay said after 5 days, like they would intervene or whatever, 4 days pass, shipping gets updated, and this is on its way. And it basically, if I'm here, and if I'm here and the package is here and it just needs to go this far, it went from here to here to here and like slingshotted around. Then I finally got this. The 4th day passed on the second one, and I filed for return on that because the tracking on that, they hadn't even dropped the package off yet on the 4th business day, and it's supposed to, you know, be at my door within 4 days. So, and I mean, this is $70 for the paper and rubber, right? So $140 wrapped up into freaking gaskets. Whole nightmare. So here we go. This was basically the last step, I think. It's been so long, I don't even remember. I don't remember half this stuff. I know this was a goofy design. So there's an O-ring on this, and this kit, out of all of these, does not have this O-ring. Bet that O-ring's $43. Discontinued. And there's some guy out there buying that rubber, 2 miles of it at a time for 4 cents. And he's sitting in his garage, snipping it and super gluing them together, just so a sucker like me will come along and buy it. But not today, Johnny. You're not getting my $43 today. Not gonna happen. We'll just let this thing puke oil out into the clutch. Alright, now I got dowels, 2 different sizes. Big one's got to go there, so there's probably another big one. Yep. And then got 2 little ones. We're gonna take these chewed up ones, the ugliest ones on here, and just get them out of the way. Put the ugliest in first. That way you can hammer the ugly end into the hole. Because when you come back around, put something on here, you're going to be fighting it much, much harder with a rubber mallet on a case half or risk damaging something. Alright, I promised that I didn't just fiddle with this for like 5 minutes putting everything in the wrong place. Alright, so we're going to do shift drum first. I know exactly what I'm doing. Then we're going to put this guy in. This is the one we put the new bearing on. We're going to put this guy in right here. If I was more prepared, that would have went in the freezer. If you don't know why, expansion and contraction, you get it cold, it'll freeze about 1,000th, and what I'm fighting right now is probably about 1,000th. Hey, it's me from the future. Make sure you don't forget to put this in. It goes right here. It has that ear to hold that bearing in. And then we'll take this gear, put that gear there, put our shift drum in. Put this gear set in. Like so. Maybe we want to put this in first. And then that lined up. And put that rod in. Can't forget this little shifter doodad. So I'm just getting the fork in the drum and turn the drum all the way to where it's locked one way, and like it fell off the gear, so then I just reset the gear to the last gear, and then now we're going to turn it back this way. Probably need to spin it a little bit like that, and then it looks the same that way. So, and we have the big hollow giant Allen head with the ball bearing. Okay, so I'm spinning it the same direction, and then this is turning counterclockwise. Assume that's neutral. Now it's turning clockwise faster, so that's going to be forward. And that's going to be reverse. Alright, we got this set to 90 inch-pounds. Oh, I forget what that is. Whatever 90 divided by 12 is. These are usually like 7 to 9 on everything that's this size. The pin's going to go in first. It's going to snap down on that. It's going to be perfectly centered. Just got to put a little hair around it. Twist that gear to make it mesh, or bad things can happen. So we are getting low on parts, which means we are coming to an end. This is how you lap a flywheel. If you are shearing these keys, it is because this surface and this surface are not mating. This should stick on here and not come off on its own, and it shouldn't need this for anything more than alignment. That's what this purpose is for alignment only. So what you want to do is get some valve grinding compound, and we're going to smear it all over here. Probably don't want to have it sitting like this, because that stuff's going to run down into the innards of the engine. So we will turn it like that, and then what you want to do is find out where your slot is. Find out where your slot is there, because this is where it's going to mate to it. And then this is an extra step because it's actually doesn't have a piston on it. You grind that back and forth within, an inch or two of that keyway. You don't need or want to do full circles, because if you do a full circle, this thing's not going on with the keyway that way. You want it to be mated where it's actually going to be at. So you'll just do that back and forth, and then what you should have afterwards is a rough surface. And that indicates that all of that was touching on the other side, and it was getting grinded and it was getting mated to the surface. And that's called an interference fit, where these two things lock together. And this doesn't hurt to do even if it's not having a problem and you have it off, because ask yourself, the two rough surfaces, if you take two pieces of sandpaper and put them together, does that make more friction or less friction than taking two sheets of paper that are slick and putting them together? So this absolutely should be done every single time you have a flywheel off. And then maybe you won't shear one of these. That's supposed to be like 40 foot-pounds or something. This does like 40, so. Some red Loctite. There's your two long ones. So this one doesn't want to go in. I'm just going to get it lined up where it looks like it's even, and then put this socket on it, put this wrench on the socket. And then it's going to be crooked for sure. Get it straightened out and go again. And it looks like it's in about the same as the other one, so that's good. So I tried to modify the new piston, and it'd probably work. It's just ugly. And I mean, the combustion chamber doesn't care too much about ugly as long as we don't have any sharp edges or anything. But I don't know what the compression ratio would be. I think it would be probably pretty close. I did dish it out a little bit, but I struggled making those relief cuts for the valves. What I really needed was like a mill bit. I don't have a mill machine, but if I had a mill bit, I could chuck this up at an angle in the drill press and achieve that. So maybe next time. So for now, what I've done is just drilled out 2 holes to help feed oil to the wrist pin, which is the design of this one, and then cleaned up the ring gaps in there, and we're just going to use this one. I have a suspicion Can you see it? The new one's longer. That's why I couldn't get that clip in there. What do you think? Belt sander with the 40 grit? We got the fresh piece of 40 grit on there. Let's try again. Which way was this? Now I can see that groove. Much easier. Now I'm just going to spin this around. I put the other one on the bottom and put this one on the bottom. Alright, now we need to do something pretty important that gets overlooked a lot of times. I need to clean some of this mess up. And by clean it up, we're just going to move it over. I'm just going to move it over about a foot. Okay, these things, when they are new, like if you were to go to a machine shop and get this cylinder sleeved, when they give it back to you, they should include instructions that tell you to basically clean this thing way better than they cleaned it. And this is, I'm going to try to show you, usually if you got some clear oil, which I do not have any clear oil, We're gonna put just a little bit of brake cleaner on here. And didn't even get it on the brake cleaner part. That black is metal dust from them honing the cylinder. So what we're gonna do, well, I was gonna go in here to the sink and scrub it, but I guess I can't do that. We're gonna try to find something to speed this up with, like some power tools, and then we'll give it a final scrub down. So here's what we're gonna do. Hot water, Dawn dish soap, and then we got this guy right here. So now that we've got probably all of that out of there, we're gonna take some oil. This is just like some 10W30 or something. I don't even know what's in there. It's just some oil. We're gonna use oil, and we're going to scrub it with oil. See that? All metal shavings that, if we would just put this thing together, would be grinding against those rings and just wearing those rings out like super fast. So yeah, a new cylinder is never clean. Alright, we got the dowels in there. I cleaned the surface below the gasket. The surface is clean too. Got oil on the, or assembly lube on the piston rings, a little bit in the bottom of the cylinder. Double check to make sure the rings were still in place. Gonna fish through the timing chain and one of the tensioners. Then double check these rings again. Everything looks okay. Looks like this bottom needs to go in a little bit, so we're just gonna do some gentle taps. Not tap it any harder than when we started, and it looks like it's going now. Get bound up on that timing chain tensioner. We can't check the tension on this yet to see how big of a difference the new one made. What we can do though is that we knew that this turned counterclockwise at the primary. So let's turn it counterclockwise, and you can see that that makes the chain move like this, and you can see that our master link is facing with the open area the wrong way. So we need to take this master link off and spin it around. That way the force is always against the closed area. The force is never against the opened area. Acetone and automatic transmission fluid, according to the internet, is the best penetrating oil. Oh, this has been sitting in here for 3 days, 4 days, and that stud was locked. So we'll see. We'll see if the internet's right. It's been right a couple times. It's been wrong a couple times. Coincidence. Okay, so we got a T and an F. The F's for firing, for checking it with the timing light. T's for top dead center. It does not want to sit on top dead center. It wants to kind of lope past that. So, and then we need to get this mark pointing to the top of that. So right now we are, I forget if we're too far one way, which way we're too far. We're just going to put this on here and then have to check it and rotate it a tooth. Little piece of welding wire. That welding wire saved the day, every day. Oh man, that's a tight fit. I guess that means that cam chain's good because I can't even get that on there. Probably gonna have to go ahead and put these studs on here. So we do have new mounting hardware. Okay, now let's see. All right, there's the T. So I went the wrong way. So we gotta go this way. So there's one tooth. should be 2 teeth. Okay, there's our T. Now I swear that looked like it's too far. So I need to make it go back this way. Yep, and now we are a little bit past that point. What in the fuck? 10 foot-pounds. I don't care what the internet or the manual says. 10 foot-pounds is what we're doing. When you're doing stuff like this that's got a lot of squish, you go really slow to get that 10. Because I can just pop it like this. And I mean, I could call that 10, but if I go real slow, see, it was tightening it for a second and then it clicked. And then I'm gonna go a little, just a bump past it. I don't want to feel it moving any at all whenever it clicks. Somebody else, top dead center, 2010, top dead center, blah, 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 2010, Polaris Outlaw 90, found something strange. Cam timing is heads up, dots up, and I found that the top dead center marking on flywheel is lined to the left of the F and not to the right of the T as it says in the manual. So basically this guy's having the same problem and everyone says, oh, you're crazy. And then there is a couple other posts about it not lining up right, timing issues, not lining up right, and everyone tells them they're crazy. Perfect time for a battery to die. So if this chain wasn't so tight and I pushed on that like that, it pushing on that would pull down, which would twist the cam, so it would pull it this way. So I think I want it on this side of that. All right, now what we can do is set this guy on here. So that's looking pretty good, because when we pulled this thing apart, we were there, right? So now we are like 2 clicks in. So I like that. Okay, so there's the intake boot, so that's up. So this should be pointing up like this. Is that it? That's it. I put it in here with an old keyway and some dowels from a different project. Yep, that'll work. That's at 80 and I'm done. Well past 80. Awesome. Get that back on there, and then we got, I don't know if you can see that. Chewed up old idler gear. What's that? A little thrust washer. It's a good thing that was on there, because I wouldn't have known if it was supposed to need that or not. It's a tiny, tiny little needle bearing in there. Just a itty bitty little guy. Just a itty bitty little thing. Call Call that little needle bearing Brandon. Just name him Brandon. Alright, that is not fitting right. Why is that not fitting right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I'm dumb, that's why. So this needs to go on first. Like that. And then that gear meshes with this one. Yeah, there we go. Like that. And then it's looking grimy. Clean it out with a piece of welding wire, because the welding wire fixes everything. Old carburetor. I don't even know if I told you guys I bought a new carburetor. $16. So I bought a new carburetor. And then I took the bowl off of it and inspected it and blew out all the junk from China. But that other carburetor, I mean, it could have been that intake valve leaking or something. But it had like a, you know, a stumble to it. Just something wasn't perfect with it. And so we know this was spinning counterclockwise. So with it spinning counterclockwise, it's going to want to throw the weights this way. So we want to make sure we get the thicker end that way. Where did this little O-ring go? Yeah, it went on that for the cover. Okay. And that's a little dude. It's probably just maybe 15, 20 foot-pounds. Gotta get that one squished a little more. Trying to line it up with the old marks. Okay, let's see. this through, and that's facing backwards, so it needs to go like this. And I got it forward right now. I went ahead and clocked it forward, so this is where it needs to sit. Probably.